Yeah, this is Bang Bang Rahil. Please press the like button and subscribe. Thanks very much for all your subscribes you've been doing, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm over the 4,000 now. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really, it's the business. Yeah. Anyway, I was talking to some kids yesterday with their dads and their mums. You know, we was all sort of sitting around on a little chat over my pals' house. I'm not really proud of talking about my sentences and all that, and how it got me back. I'm trying to talk to them about crack cocaine and cocaine. I know they're all puffing, they're all 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, you know what I mean? The girls, I'm trying to get them off of it, yeah? But they're all puffing anyway, so it's an hard thing to get off puff. But the other thing, coke, and I'd kill the kids if I knew they was on that, yeah? And I told the old man anyway. Anyway, but no, but I was just telling them about the way I got into crack and the way I got into coke. Cocaine really was something that I got into when I was going to all the clubs and do all the minding all my pals in the clubs. And I thought, crack was coke was the thing to get into because at the end of it all, I was just start up until really late at night, 3 or 4 times a week. It's a bit heavy, and go out on a Friday and not come back till a Sunday. It's a bit much, you know what I mean? And and eventually I started taking coke with them and got involved in the coke. Mickey Gooch didn't know that I was on coke. If he'd have known that, he'd have killed me. He wouldn't have stood for that, mate. He'd have sacked me straight away. He don't take drugs. And anyway, cut a long story short, I was on it, got on it, and that's the only way really I could stay awake for 3 or 4 days at weekends. And I was just telling them about how I felt, and then it got worse. I was bringing it home, and then my Danny was on it. She got on it, Danny, and my girlfriend. I mean, come on, we was doing. I suppose she was not joking about. We must have been doing the grand a week, £1,000 a week. But I had lots of it anyway. It didn't affect me in that way. I was cutting it myself. I was making 3 out of 1 and all that, this, that, and the other. 3 big ones out of one. So I wasn't really bothered, and it was really, really good the way I was doing it. And so I got really big time involved in it, selling it, and earning good money, but getting addicted to it. I mean, a couple of times my mate would come from Wolverhampton, and we would sit on his. I had a massive kitchen, really big, about 23 foot long, very, very wide, all units. It was really nice, yeah. And I had a big table in there, and we'd be sitting one, and I'd be sitting the other, and chucking the Charlie across, and getting right into it, yeah. And cocaine is a really addictive drug, and the come downs on it can be unbelievable. I mean, the come downs are the worst thing in the world. Trying to get to sleep is really, really bad, and getting very aggressive the next day, or the next 2 days, or the next 3 days, when you eventually get a kip. But the worst thing I ever got on was crack cocaine. I mean, when I was on cocaine, I used to do some terrible things. I used to have some terrible fights with people, and really bash them up bad, and didn't realise. And being an enforcer too didn't make it very easy when you was on that shit. When you're hurting people, you're going over the top. You're not really thinking what you're doing. You're just going over the top and really taking liberties with them. And you're trying to tell kids that ain't a good thing, because what happens in the end of the day, yeah? But at the end of the day, when the police come, thank God they never found it. It was in my back garden in a jar, and they looked everywhere that they said it was. By my mother-in-law, told them where it was, and it wasn't there. Yeah, so I had that vibe about me leaving it where it was, and leaving it there where the people see it. So I chucked it out in the garden with the dogs, and it made the things a lot. Well, not with the dogs. I mean, the dogs was in the garden then, but the dogs was in the house when the police come in. So the garden was empty, but they never went out in the garden, so I left the garden. But that's where it was, in the garden, in the big hedge, yeah. Anyway, then coke was just crazy. I was going over the top of it. I was just enjoying it, getting plenty of young girls in there. It's going crazy with the stuff, you know what I mean? It wasn't cost me no money, so it made it a lot easier. And one day, me and my daddy, we really fell out big time, and I got involved in a place in Brentford Docks. I loved it. Got involved with a guy called Compton. Compton was a very dangerous person. I don't know, a lot of people might know Compton from Brentford. He got done for a few armed robberies. You put a gun in that man's hand, mate. He was deadly. I mean, also people say, yeah, but a gun. Listen to me, mate. You can put a gun in someone's hand, and people are too frightened to pull the trigger, or the consequences of it. Yeah. But he was on crack, really, really bad, and he could be trusted with a gun, mate. But he was a dangerous man. I mean, if you upset him, he was in a problem. Was he 11 and a half, 12 stone? But it was a problem, mate. Everybody in where he come from, South East London, and all around there knew he was Brixton, and knew that he was a very dangerous person. But he lived in Brentford Docks. He got out of prison and decided to make a different move for himself. Moved to Brentford, met a woman, and them two got together. And she was absolutely minted. She had lots of money, yeah, that her parents left her. And so Compton had the life that he wanted, just going through crack and all the time. It never stopped. And one day I met him in the docks, and I said, "What, mate?" And I started talking to him, and he said, "I'll come up and have a chat." He come up to my flat, have a chat, and he started pot smoking his gear. I said, "What's happening?" He went, "Ah, it's okay. Don't get involved in this, mate." And he left it at that. Yeah. I went, "Okay." And I had lots of coke anyway, so I gave him a bit of coke, and he said I could knock this up into gear. So I said, "Look, I don't want to get involved in that, mate. I'm not happy with that. You know what I mean? I'm not happy with that shit at all." So he went, and then I met this girl, this prostitute. I brought her up to my flat, stayed the night, and then she started talking about her mates, this, that, and the other, and her mates come up. That was Aria and her sister Tamara. Come up to my house and got involved. I got involved with them on the coke, and they was loving it. I mean, but they was taking more coke off of me than they actually was snorting, you know, because they was on the crack. I didn't know. The only one I knew was when Compton come in, and he gave this Ario a pipe, and she was on it anyway from the off, and they shot out and come back with his crack. Uh, I was sitting there with Tamara. Me and Tamara was having a bit of coke and just enjoying ourselves, having a bit of fun. And they come in, and there's me half naked on the settee. There's Tamara half naked on the settee, and all of a sudden Arrow's coming. She was a little bit pissed off at the time, and give me a pipe. And I went, no, I'm not into that. She said, come on, it's a party. Let's get into it, yeah. So Bob put me a pipe on, and took it in, but it wasn't in a big bottle. It was in a little thing called a Martell bottle where they smashed the bottom of it, and they put gauze in the top, and then suck it through the bottom, and they put the gear on the gauze and just suck it in. Yeah, and had the first one, mate. It knocked me back, but the feeling was unbelievable. I'm telling all this to the kids. I'm not telling about being naked and all that, but I'm telling to the kids what I went through, and they're all nodding and they can't believe it. You know, way I'm talking about this, and then we got right involved in it with this, with the crack, and they left. Aria coming to my bedroom. I was laying in bed on the pipe. Still had a few more pipes, and she just come in and got on me, squeezed my private parts. And I thought, crikey, you know what I mean? I said, "Come back. You're going to come back?" She said, "Yeah, I'll come back another day." And then they went, and Compton come in about what 4 or 5 hours later, coming with stuff mixed up with tobacco, with the ash, and it was crack. It mixed it all together. I said, "Yeah, some of that, mate." It knocked me out, and that's when I got really addicted to it. And because I had a lot of money anyway, was giving it to Compton. Me and Compton was taking it. We was going out doing silly things, silly robberies, getting big money. Silly robberies, we getting big money, going all over where you knew and where crack dealers were, and robbing the crack dealers and doing this and doing that, and getting money all the time on crack. And then I got involved big time with that Ario, and and I was a lot really out of order. You know that to get involved like I did with Aria. I mean, she took me down to a place in the Val. I got involved with her big time in the crack, big time. I was more giving her crack to keep her going on the streets to get it and doing things to get it. So I didn't want that. So I was giving her more crack, making her more worse. So when I did eventually go, then it made her worse and she had to go and get it. You know, so I was making it worse for her. I made her more addicted than I should have done. And she got really addicted to it. So it was my fault, yeah. And one day I was down there and lots of things happened. I had a fight with her brother. I see her brother outside. Aria was on crack, and he was having a go at her, and he punched her in the face. and he grabbed her tits and pinched her tits. Yeah, I jumped out of the motor. He went upstairs, and I could hear Harry upstairs with him in the house, and the mum saying, screaming at the brother, Addy. I think his name was Addy. To stop it, to stop bashing Harry up, you know. And I, mate, I smashed the door down. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I just ran at the door like a lunatic. Come on, she's my woman. You know what I mean? I know it's his sister, but I smashed the door down, mate. And I'll tell you what, he underestimated me big time. You know what I mean? I bashed him up, mate. I bashed him up so bad, Addy, right? He'll never forget that. I smashed him up so bad that he couldn't even poo. He couldn't wee. I just smashed him, mate. I kept smashing him around the body. Didn't hit him around the face, just smashing him around the body, giving it, yeah. And he knocked him out. And anyway, went downstairs, sat in the car, and I could see Ariel screaming. And she was screaming at her brother because her brother come downstairs to do me with a knife, carving knife. I jumped out of the car. His arsehole went, mate. His arsehole went. He didn't want me again, mate. He didn't want me. What? You going to stab me up? Stab me up, mate, and you're going to smash you to pieces. You know what I mean? I told him that. I said, you stab me up, mate, and I will smash you to pieces. You will only do it once. His arsehole went. He went back upstairs. Ariel come down. We shot off in the car. And I got white on the crack of her. Had a good night with her, mind you. She was a beautiful woman. And, you know, she was good at what she did. And then things got worse, really. I'm getting more crack, and getting more addicted to it. Going out to do silly things. I was going out to Bagley's, over King's Cross, robbing people over there. I mean, you know, he didn't know. A guy that owned Bagley's. I ain't saying his name. He was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. And I was going to rob it. I mean, I had intentions to go in there to rob it, yeah. I didn't care about the doorman. There was some big doorman there. I wasn't bothered about that, mate. If I go in with an anything, I don't give a monkey's who's there. But I had all intentions of robbing Bagley's. I mean, it was taking like 40, 50, 60 grand a night. You know, and I wanted that money was going to be mine. And I had all intentions of going and robbing it. And then I was told that the best thing to do it is rob his house. But he lived around the corner from where I lived in Acton. So I don't think that was a good idea. You know, and anyway. So I left it at that, but we become friends, me and Terry. Terry, as you know his name now, Terry. We become quite good friends, and I was more of a body wanting to be with him, help him out, but he wasn't that involved. He got involved with a couple of people I know, a guy called Viking, and Viking was running money around for him, and Viking was a very good friend of mine, and Viking got over a fight anyway. I wasn't really going to get involved with robbing him as it was about. You know, it was a power, so I left it. You know, but it was running a lot of money around for Terry, and I was still going down Bagley's, but I was still going around Bagley's robbing people of money and all that. And you know, and I was getting a few shillings. And then me and Compton, we got together a few times, gone down there, robbed a few people, robbed a few places. I ain't saying, but robbed a few places, got a right few bob, and going back and going on the pipe. The thing with going on the pipe is that it is what it is. And it's addictive, and it's a 24-hour thing, and you keep on going. You don't stop. With Charlie, you get a gram, you do a gram, do 2 grams, and you're gone, and you don't want to do no more. But with crack, it's so addictive that you get more and more and more, and it goes on. It don't stop, and it don't end. You know, and so a day becomes a week becomes a month, and it goes on. Yeah, you might have a rest for 3 or 4 days, and then come out of bed and go back on it, and you know, and then not only are you on it, but the whole cleanliness of you goes out the window. You go in the house stinking like a polecat, get in bed 4 or 5 days. My mum was going mad. I was going to my mum's and said rather go to my place, crash out of my mum's 4 or 5 days. Mum cooked me a big dinner, and she said, "You want drugs?" And I said, "No." And she could smell it. You know what I mean? Smell like I was. And then it became worse and worse and worse, crack, really bad. And when I knew it was that bad is when me, her sister Tamara, and a couple of other girls went to, to the Radisson, Edwardian, at Heathrow Airport, and had a big suite, had big bottles of Magnum, bottles of champagne, and a big bath in there, and showers and bits and pieces like that. About 7 girls in there, all naked and doing all sorts of things. and I done 14 grand in 2 to 3 days. 14 grand. I come out of the hotel with about 50p in my pocket, and Ariel, she went home, and they nicked lots of money off me. Nicked loads of crap, but you accept that when you're having a good time, yeah. And the only bad thing about it is that I walked nearly all the way home and got a cab and then got in my mum's house, borrowed some money off my mum. I was skin. Come on, mum saying, "What, all that money you had, where's that gone?" I said, "Oh, I got that in my flat, mum. Can you lend me a bit of money?" Mum give me money, she never got it back. Come on, when you're on that crap, mate, you ain't giving money back because you need every fucking penny you get. All the money you get is going to go on crack. What's the point? What is the point of taking that stuff? Because all it does really is ruin your life. Because every day you're going to get your money. Every day you're robbing someone for money. This is why I got the IPP. It's because that I wanted money for crack. I mean, I was getting so much money just doing silly robberies, like 2 grand, 1 grand, 1,500 quid. Every fucking other day I was getting that and going crazy on it, and buying crack, getting Ario, going with my mates, and just having dirty times. It's what it's about. Drugs. Drugs is about filth. That's all it's about, mate. It isn't about anything else. You know what I mean? And they go rob people, get more money, and take more crack, and walking about. And the funniest thing I ever see, right, was Ario. Yeah, I think I might have told. I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't hurt. Me and Ario was over at East Acton. We'd been out all night. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. She's gone by a big supermarket, walked down there, and there's all these boxes stacked up in trolleys. Yeah? It's still opening and unloading lorries. And she picked this big box up and done the box up, and it was about 3 foot high, or about 4 foot wide. And she got inside it, done the lid up, got inside it, and started smoking crack in the middle of the road. Well, not the road, pavement, but in East Acton. I mean, the old bill said that, mate, she's in trouble. She said, "Do you think she's bothered? Do you think she's bothered?" She wasn't bothered. I went mad. Get her, anyway. Then she go home, then she give me some money, some crack, I shoot off, and then she goes back on it. And then one day, I'm madly in love with her, but madly in love with her too. You've got to remember that. One day, she phones me up and said, "Ray, I've got to go to America." And she had a group called Entice, and she was one of the lead singers in Entice. She was a fantastic singer and fantastic, one of the best dancers in England, and she could sing them. She was such a good singer. Entice, they was about the same time as Sugar Babes, around about that time. And she went to America, and Whitney Houston wanted her to dance and sing in some big group. And Whitney Houston called her over there, and she got involved with that Bobby Brown. And Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston got on the crack. And she come back after about 2 or 3 weeks, and she looked a mess, mate. And she looked a mess, and she was on crack really bad out there. They get little capsules, little things or something full of crack, and it's really good out there. Ain't like what it is in this country. And she come really addictive, and she come over and didn't want to know me. I mean, it's different. Come on, you're going in class, first class, and it's his first class and second class. I'm second class, she's first class. Right? She was over there with Houston, Bobby Brown, spending fortunes. They was doing all sorts of things to her. She was telling me, and I was gutted really, because when she come back, me and her started falling out a bit and wasn't that close. And but I was still on crack really, really bad. And one day I said to her, "Look, I phoned her up and said, come, I've got some nice stuff." And went into my place. Then I lived at Labrador Grove, right by where there was a big fire. That fire on the Granville fire. I was next door to a block next door, and I lived on about the 10th floor. And I was smoking crack all the time. And she used to go away, and I could hear her in someone else's flat screaming and shouting. It gutted me. I couldn't find out which one it was. And eventually, I went out and done this thing now that I'm nicked for the IPP. Went mad. When I went there, we had a big lorry, and got in the back of the lorry, smoking crack cocaine. Before I would go and do the job, I had policemen's uniforms, I had custom excise uniforms, and 2 guys come up and we put the uniforms in, custom excise. I had the SO19 uniform, walked into these places, the shutter was shutting, said that I'm custom excise officers here. I'm special. I'm special this, special that, and walked in there and tied everybody up and robbed it of a lot of money. And anyway, but when he walked in there, the guys that I was with went upstairs uh, to check everybody upstairs. They nicked all their watches, their rings, their phones, their laptops, everything, rather than take what I told them to take was the hard drive from the property. They said they couldn't find the hard drive, but they didn't really look for it. All they was interested with was the money, the laptops, the rings, the watches. Idiots, young kids. I was downstairs, tied everybody up, cable tied everybody up, and in the corner was a big black motor. We was going to put them in the black motor, and then take the whole phones, everything. There was a big container in there, full of razor phones. It was razor phones then, absolutely minty razor phones. I undone the door, and it was packed tight with razor phones. And I said to the floor manager, and everybody was tied up, cable tied, right, I'm here for your safety and my safety. So what I'm going to do now, after you've been cable tied, I'm going to put you in that black van, and so that you're all safe from us, yeah. And the floor manager knew that it wasn't right, knew that it was something dodgy, and run at me like a lunatic, and I just smashed him. I had this big SO19 gloves on that was all leaded on the fingers, leaded on the side, weighed a ton. As he come towards me, I whacked him so hard, mate, his jaw bone come out the side of his mouth, and the blood everywhere. I was cracked out of my head anyway. I jumped on top of him and I smashed him to pieces. I'm telling all this to the kids, for the kids sitting down, and you can't believe their faces. They can't believe it. I'm telling them this is what drugs can do to you and did do to me. So the best thing you can do, don't get involved. I'm going on with the story, and I'm telling them, look, this is what happened. I'm smashed it to pieces, loaded up the van. The police have got all the road cordoned at the top, smashed all the motors everywhere. It's crazy. It was like Keystone Cops, mate. And got away, and hard drive, and we had a grass on the firm, grassed me up, and that was it. And then everything happened. I was in the flat on crack, and me and Abby had a row. She'd gone. Next thing you know, on the door, 10:30, 11 at night. And sorry, before that, my co-defendant Peter's come up to my place. I said, "What are you doing here?" He went, "I'm just going to tell you that I'm trying to get the phones back for you." I said, "Listen, get the phones back because we've got them sold." But he didn't tell me that it'd already been nicked by the police about the phones. So he grasped me up, but he brought the police to my house. Right? Then when he came up, he brought the police with him. So when he went back downstairs, they took him away. And then they knocked at my door. There was two women. Hello, sir. We're just here about televisions. We'd like to see if you've got any this and that and this. Yeah, I said, no, I don't need that. Slammed the door in their face and got back on my pipe. That was our bill. Just to see who I was in. 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, knocked at the door. Didn't take a notice. All of a sudden, oh, Bill, bosh. They couldn't get through the door because I had the door wedged up. So they brought this thing called a shredder. They shredded my door. Come out. As I come out, there was all spots on me and this, that and the other and everything, yeah. But someone told them I had guns in the cupboard by the door. And so there was all stuff on the floor. So instead of me turning around and walking back and falling over and they're thinking I'm going to go with the guns, they knew about the guns, and they shot me. So I just walked forward. I wasn't notice what they were saying. I just walked forward out into the corridor. Who's there? The two birds, the two women. I was naked. They took me over the corner, cut me up, took me to Wembley police station, and that was it. But before that, right, I put string on my balcony. Not string, a rope. A big rope on my balcony. Tied it on the balcony like a lunatic, as you do when you're on crack. Don't realise what an idiot you are. Chucked it over, thick rope. Right, went to about, I'm on the 10th, went to about the 6th floor, and I said, if anyone comes in here, I'm going to jump on that rope, slide down, go on the balcony, kick their door in and go out that way. It don't work, does it? It's very easy to say it, and do it, and go to do it because you're on crack, but as they come to the door, I didn't even enter my mind. I forgot all about it. But if I remembered it, I would have more likely done it. And because I was on crack, I'd have slid down the rope and gone straight from the 6th floor down to the floor and dead. Anyway, but in the end, when I went out there, the car park was full of police anyway. I could have got away with it, but took me to the police station. Anyway, cut a long story short, I wasn't going to the scrubs, and that's it. Anyway, this is Bang Bang Ray Hill. But before that, I was like, I've told my story. There's a lot more, and I've talked to the kids, yeah, and I'm telling them, not kids really, the young women, young men. I'm saying, look, after I told them the story, yeah, I was saying, this is what happens when you take drugs, things like coke and crack. This is what's happened to me. I've got a big IPP sentence. I've done 10 years in prison. I've done nearly 10 years on the street, and I'm still on an IPP. It isn't worth it, because you know what isn't worth it? When I was in prison, the only help I had was me. I didn't have my family to help me out. Me. That's all I had was me. My mum used to come and see me, on the weekends and give me my food. But when I got put away in prison, it's not right for me to ask for money, yeah? But obviously you do. But in the end, it comes to a stage where they can't give you it, and I wound up being myself and working in prison to get money to get my niceties like sugar, milk, coffee, and all that sort of thing. And because I was a bit of a face, I used to get lots of things. And it's what the prison's about. You go in there with nothing, right? And you come out to nothing. You come out. You got to remember when I was in prison, my dad died. All my sisters and brothers just pushed me aside. The only ones that didn't was my sister Dinah, and she should have done, because I loved her to death, but she should have done, because I took liberties with her, and I took liberties with all my family really. My Keith was sending letters and postcards and bits and pieces like that, and when I come out, he was having contact with me, but I didn't really want it, because I lost that contact with them. As being come to visit me. I think twice my brother come and see me after 10 years, and I remember my mum come and see me when I was in the Mount, and my mum looked really old, and I broke my heart when I got back to myself, mate. It ripped me apart to think I've been away 26 and a half years of my life in prison, and my mum hadn't seen me for 26 and a half years, off and on, yeah, but over the past 26 and a half years, big sentences like this one done a 10, the other one done 8, and 10, 9, and then you think to yourself, is it worth it, mate? I've lost my dad. I loved him to death, my dad, Bob, my stepfather. He was like my real dad. He was a fantastic man. Lost him, yeah. Lost my mum. My mum died when I come out of prison. She died of a heart attack. My mum was a fantastic woman, but I ruined her life, mate. I'm her son, and I was in prison. It must have broken my mum's heart. She must have cried. And you think to yourself, I'm trying to explain to these kids, it ain't worth it. So when I come out, you remember when I went in prison, I had everything, houses, properties, everything, money, everything. Wife, kids, cars, swimming pools, dogs, everything, yeah. Come out of prison, what have I got? Nothing. They put me in a hostel for 6 months to 7 months. In a hostel, yeah. Every day, police run up and down the stairs. You never know when they're going to knock your door. You never know. It's still in you. Still thinking you ain't done nothing. But deep down inside, you're thinking, have I done anything? And they came back to me at things I've done years ago. But I never did, but he was always petrified they might, yeah. So he never really slept at night. Then they give me a place, and the place wasn't suitable. You see, a dog would be treated better than they treated me with that place. And I eventually got a place in Harrow from my mate, Stevie Smith, and a guy's called Rod Hutchinson. Good man, mate. He looked after me, and and then like I met a guy called Raj, big Indian fella in Harrow, nice fella, looks after me. Raj, nice guy. I'd like to do a podcast with him one day. He's got a story that kills most stories, yeah. He's been with so many people. He's a good guy, and I will do a podcast one day with Raj, yeah. But anyway, there's a lot, but big stories to tell about all this and bits and pieces, but how far do you go, you know what I mean? So anyway, This is bang bang. Anyway, eventually, in the end, I told these kids that, listen, I've got nothing. I've lost everything. Mum, dad, family. I've lost all that, yeah? All down to gangsterism, enforcer, drugs. If I hadn't have been involved with drugs and still been doing what I was doing, I'd have reigned forever. They had no chance of catching me for what I was doing. I was too clever and the people I was working with were too clever. But all of a sudden you get involved with drugs, you completely lose that. You lose everything and you get involved with something that's done this to you. Absolutely ruined your life. Put you in prison and you come out and you lost your mum, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, you lost everything, yeah? You lost your kids, you lost your ex-wife, you lost your girlfriends, you lose it all. And you've got to start all again, yeah? The only thing I've got is my mate Terry Haley. He's a gentleman. He's got me right out of trouble. He's making me write a book, not me write a book. He's got a ghostwriter doing a book. It's going to be a fantastic book about my life. My life's massive, mate. You know, and it's going to be one of the best sellers there is. I think it's going to be the bestseller. I've got a fantastic name for it. Everything's running proper, mate, and I'm never ever going to let anything ruin it. So thank you so much for the podcast, for listening to my podcast. This is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please like and subscribe. It is a big one. So lovely. Have a nice day, yeah? Bye-bye.